Hello, everybody, and welcome to the July 26th edition of the 9to5Mac Happy Hour. Today, we are speaking to the CEO of the Speaktoit assistant. We're going to have some cool deals for you, and we're also going to be talking to Dan of the 9to5 Toys fame. He's going to talk about some of the deals that came out this week, as well as the Chromecast, where you can buy it, where you can find it. So let's jump right into it with an interview with the Speaktoit CEO, Ilya Gelfenbein. We have with us Ilya Gelfenbein, and you are, do you want to just talk about the company that you are with?
Yeah, sure. So the company is Speaktoit, and we develop talking personal assistants for smartphones, both iOS, Android, and some other. We launched the company about 3 years ago, and we were basically first conversation-based assistant in the market. So we launched our product before Apple Siri in 2011.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, I guess we can jump right into it even. One of the biggest factors that I've seen is whether or not the personal assistant is really deeply integrated into the operating system. So when it comes to iOS, of course, it's kind of what they call the walled garden, where Siri is quickly accessible, but then any other apps, it's where you have to open up the app and then start interacting with it from there. Now, when it comes to Android, can you were you able to actually make it so it's deeper integrated into the operating system for Android?
Yeah, so you can launch the assistant with a long tap on home button. Also, we have voice triggers, so that you can just say, "Hey, assistant," and it will wake up.
Oh, cool.
We also support like shake activation. And also some proactive push notifications. So sometimes assistant suggests you to do something even if you don't ask.
Okay. So are you finding that people are kind of activating it a lot more just because it's quick to access rather than opening up an application?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a main driver, So it is helpful definitely, but people love the assistant basically. So they don't think that it is. So they are ready to launch it with an icon as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another thing, so what is kind of the differentiator with your products? I know that you were first to market, but what do you kind of find to be different than the other assistants that are kind of introducing and coming into the market? Yeah.
Well, by the way, I want to mention that, we are working on a major update for our iOS users. So basically it will be, closer to what we have on Android right now, because we started from Android and we have more features there. And the main feature will be ability to teach your assistant. It is currently available on Android, so you can say, when I say cheese, you should open camera, or something more complex. When I say bro, you should call John Smith or something like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Just, there are some funny cases. For example, one of our users says when I say, "Hey, sexy lady," you should answer Oppa Gangnam Style. Something like this.
Yes.
First of all, we are cross-platform, so you can have the same assistant knowing about you on your iOS, iPad, Android tablet, and in future even cars. We are working on a couple of prototypes for cars, smart TVs, and smart home. Also, we do support some proactive assistance scenarios, which is relatively close to what Google now provides in Android, but it's interactive, so that we can suggest something proactively, and then we can suggest some actions to do about it. So, for example, you are being late, we can suggest you to notify another party or something like this.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've noticed is that there's really two different approaches to assistants. It's either that it's the Google Now, where it's this is what you're doing right now, this is what your schedule looks like, this is kind of suggestions on what you can do around you, or your plane ticket coming up, or it's kind of the assistant mode where you ask and receive answers, and that's where your Speaktoit or Siri or a lot of other ones kind of seem to be banking on, is the idea where you ask a question and you receive an answer. So you see kind of the future is kind of an integration of both of those?
Yeah, I think both should work. And well, basically, when we develop an assistant, we don't have to invent something. We just have a really good role model, the real human personal assistant
Yeah.
that that is able to answer your questions and also that cares about you and knows your agenda, your plans, your interests, and so on, and can proactively suggest you something or notify about some interesting events or news.
Yeah, that makes sense. The other thing that I noticed is you have a big focus on the idea of an avatar. So I know like you can kind of customize what the avatar looks like. You can change their gender. You can change their hairstyle or anything else like that.
Right.
So what do you I guess what is the whole thinking behind having an avatar? Do you see that it's more engaging and you kind of feel personalized by seeing a face and connecting that to the voice?
Well, we are working on some prototypes, as I mentioned, for example, for cars where there is no avatars, and also some other prototypes as well. But well, it is part of the whole concept of naturally speaking to technologies or to devices. So basically, avatars help people treat it as something like human-like or alive. Despite of this fact, we have like 2/3 of our users are older than 25. So it's not like kids like them only. People really like to speak to something natural, and that's why we are trying to make it as natural as human-like as possible.
Yeah.
Just to simplify simplify communications with the assistant.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So do you I guess why did you get into this market? What did you really see in terms of how it can succeed, or what made you get into this?
Well, it was a dream of the whole IT society for like 30 or 40 years to have something like artificial intelligence that does tasks for you, so that it really simplifies life. And that it was our dream as well. So we have 3 co-founders in the company, we all had previous experience in computational linguistics about 10 years ago, and at some point 3 years ago we just realized that there are voice recognition systems available that work pretty good. There are lots of services with open APIs. Cloud computing is developing, and that was just really good point to start working on this. And finally have something that works really good for users. But of course, all the assistants, including us and Siri and all others, they're not perfect yet. So we are working hard to make them an app you can't live without.
Yeah.
But it will take some time.
So what do you see as kind of the future for the market? Where is it going?
It's going first of all, that we already discussed, proactive and active scenarios should go together. Also, it definitely goes to additional devices, cars, smart homes, wearable devices, which are pretty popular right now. We're also looking at like Google Glass to integrate the assistant there, and cross-platform experience, I believe. So it should be not just different assistants on different devices, but one assistant that is available from all the devices. And of course, most of services should be integrated there, so that it could become a universal interface. So kind of a replacement of a browser and search engine. You just tell whatever you want and you get it.
Yeah.
One place.
Okay. So do you see that the future has it where we're typing less, or kind of? And I know you said it is kind of a dream that we've all had in terms of just being able to ask something and receive the answer, being able to ask some virtual assistant to help us and automatically get the results or have it already taken care of for us. But do you see that in the future we're really not going to have to type, or we're not going to have to sit down at computers? Like what is kind of the end result of having these assistants around?
I think we will need to type sometimes. So even with our assistant, sometimes people are on like meetings. They just type what they want, like what my schedule looks like for today or something like that. So that's not a problem, and in some cases typing is better than speaking. I definitely think that people will spend less time with old-fashioned computers or laptops if they can just ask some small device to help. So basically, consuming information should be simplified, and assistant can be anywhere in like a small wearable device or part of your, I don't know, screens on your fridge and kitchen or somewhere else. So virtually anywhere.
Okay, so you see that it's kind of, we can talk to any device and right away it'll kind of give us feedback and be connected to the internet and present results or whatever else it is.
Right. And they're going to understand who you are and what are your preferences and yeah.
So when it comes to, I know you said that really soon it's going to be able to learn commands where you can actually just kind of build. In a way, it's just a shortcut, right?
Yeah.
Like a verbal shortcut in a way.
Right.
Now, do you see that this is something where, like I guess I'm trying to get kind of long-term vision in terms of that. So do you see it where down the line it can just kind of say, I can say, I want to eat something today, and it would be able to look through my preferences and kind of pick out a really good place to go out and eat, or kind of how is that learning gonna progress?
This is different type of learning. This is basically taking into account user preferences and remembering something about the user. And it is supported already in a way. So basically, when we design some interaction scenarios, we can define that this information could be used in future. So, for example, when you are asking for an Italian restaurant nearby, we could remember that you probably like Italian kitchen. So and in future, when you say I'm hungry, we could suggest you to search for Italian food, for example, nearby. So that is already being implemented, and we are working on just new scenarios to use these features.
That makes sense. Okay, so right now, what do you find that most users are really taking advantage of the assistant for?
We identified several main environments. So one of them is in car, definitely. And one of the most popular scenarios that we support that is called daily brief. So basically, when you drive to your office, you can ask what my day looks like, and it will give you current time, weather, news, your horoscope, and it's configurable, and you can interrupt it at any time. So you can ask to read this particular news article, or reply to particular message, email, for example. That is very, very helpful for users. Second environment is definitely in the office. So everything related to productivity, managing calendars, again, messaging, calls and texts. And third one is more about in the living room, something related to managing your TV. We do have a prototype working with smart TVs, so that you can ask when is the next movie with Jennifer Aniston, or what's on ESPN tomorrow morning, or something like that. It's not in the mobile assistant yet, but we are working hard on it. So basically, so I would say in the car, in the office, and at home, these are main three environments
that makes sense.
Where users,
And so do you find kind of what are the main functions that they're doing when they're in that environment, like kind of on top of the daily brief and kind of understanding their schedule? Do you find that a lot of people would rather send text messages through it, or are they kind of placing phone calls, or what is the best thing, kind of a quick task that people are doing?
Yeah, so for in-car environment, it's everything everything related to navigation, maps, placing calls, sending texts, definitely. Sometimes, searching for something in a search engine. In the office, it's more about launching apps, scheduling notes, again, calls and texts. Definitely Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Also,
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you joining us for today's happy hour. And you are available. It's free on the App Store, which I really love. It's the Speaktoit assistant. Speaktoit is all one word. And that is available on the App Store as well as the Google Play Store. So once again, I really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Now, before we actually start talking to Dan from 9to5Toys.com, I actually wanted to bring up a couple deals that we have going on. So, first of all, we have software that's called iSkySoft, and you can look it up on Facebook. They're usually $100 or $99, and they're actually giving it away for free until the end of Sunday. So you're able to go on there. I believe you just have to like their page, and right away you will get that $100 software for free. Now, their iSkySoft iPhone data recovery actually makes it so that you can take a backup from iTunes and be able to kind of sift through all the information that's in it. So if you want to retrieve some text messages, pictures, whatever else it is that's jam-packed into that backup, you're able to pick it up through that software. In addition, with all of the fun NSA stuff that's flying around, with all of the surveillance happening, with all of the possibilities of hackers being able to intercept your data while you're trying to access your bank, whatever else it is, it's really important that you use a VPN whenever you're transferring sensitive data. So, the folks over at ProXPN have actually made it so that our 9to5Mac happy hour listeners can actually get 20% off their plans for life. So if you're able to get the 1 month plan, which is normally $10, you actually get it for 20% off, and it brings it down to just $8. Use the coupon code NTFMAC at proxpn.com, and you will be able to get that 20% off. And that stays with your account for life. So let's jump over to our discussion with Dan from 9to5toys.com and see what's going on with the Chromecast and some of the other deals that happened this week. We have with us Dan of the 9to5Toys fame. Dan, how you doing?
Good. How are we doing today, Scott?
Not too bad. So there's been lots of deals that you guys have been posting that kind of they come in and come out real. They're only available for a couple hours. But the first thing that I do want to talk to you about is the Chromecast. So
Yes, sir.
It's like selling out everywhere. It's such a cheap device, and there was a great deal that they were running with it for quite a while. So do you want to talk about kind of where you can still find the Chromecast?
Yeah, it actually came in like a fury. We weren't kind of expecting the rollout that they did for it. It started off in the Google Play Store, and then as announced during the event, it kicked off at Amazon about probably 4 hours later. We were one of the first websites to report on that, and the good part about waiting to jump on the Amazon deal was in several states people were able to save on taxes as well as shipping. So if you were going through Google Play, the total cost out the door was about $41, as opposed to people buying through Amazon, which was about $35 flat out the door, shipped to their doorstep. But you kind of hit on it earlier. There was a Netflix promo that was running with it originally, and they were giving away 3 months free to any purchaser of the new Chromecast. And that is for existing Netflix customers, previous as well as new. So if you were already an existing Netflix customer, you would get a promo code that would credit your account for 3 free months. So that's, at $8 a month, you're saving $24, and that kind of brings the effective cost of that Chromecast unit down to about $11, I think, which is kind of crazy. Since then, Google has pulled back, and they said supplies have been met for that promotion, and it's no longer being offered, as well as the Chromecast is sold out, like you said, across the 3 major retailers that are carrying it. That would be Amazon, Google Play, and Best Buy. Amazon's actually still accepting orders right now. They're not even giving projected ship dates, though. Google Play is also accepting orders, and they're projecting out 2 to 3 weeks. And Best Buy just says, no dice, we're sold out.
So you're saying that if somebody wants to buy it right now, you actually would still recommend Amazon?
I think that's the route I would go. They're usually very conservative and realistic with shipping dates, and they usually get them out really fast. So even though they're not giving a projected date, I would still trust them to deliver in a timely fashion, and you're going to be saving a couple bucks over the Google Play Store. So if I needed one, that's the route I would go.
Yeah. So I actually saw. I don't know how much you know about kind of how the Netflix deal was working. I saw one person last night who told me his Twitter handle is at proudly biased. He said that he bought it from Best Buy, but then he never received the actual Netflix code. And when he called up Best Buy, they said, "Oh, just talk to Netflix and they'll solve it." But then Netflix was saying to actually talk to Best Buy about it. So he was kind of getting a runaround with that. So were you kind of familiar with how Netflix was dealing with those actual codes?
Yeah, in our initial post there, we kind of outlined the steps to actually redeem that Netflix promo. And I believe within 5 days of your Chromecast shipping or purchase, you should receive by email a promo code that you would be able to plug into the Google promo website to redeem the code.
Okay, so it seems like
I don't
more.
know. I don't know the URL offhand that you would get it, but you don't get it instantly, and it takes I think up to 5 days after your item ships for you to get it via email, and then you need to submit that promo code to Google. They have a promo website for you to redeem it.
Okay, so it seems like it was one of those things where they just didn't really communicate that well enough to some people that were buying it from Best Buy or Amazon.
Yeah, I think Amazon did a really good job of laying it out. It wasn't there initially, but a couple hours after the product page went up, they had a special link for the promo, and they had, I think it was 6 or 7 steps laid out in a nice organized fashion that laid out the steps exactly, so you could follow them easily.
Mm-hmm. But do you know, like, if somebody did buy it from Best Buy, how do they know if they actually purchased it before the time that they turned it off?
For Best Buy, I don't know. For Amazon, they actually posted a drop dead date on the product page, and I think it's July 25th around 5 p.m. So any order that got in before then is good to go. After then, they're not going to be getting the promo.
That makes sense. So it wasn't really about specifically the quantity, but it was more the time that it was actually purchased.
Yeah, I think it was they were overwhelmed with the response. Really, I don't think that they were expecting it. I think they thought they'd have a couple days to kind of assess the demand for it, and then kind of play it out as it rolled out. But I think that they were kind of taken aback and they kind of reacted quickly. That's why all the details weren't communicated well. I would just assume. Actually, I think I just remembered the website that you can pop in that code at. So after you receive your Netflix promo code from Amazon, Best Buy, or Google Play, what you're going to want to do is head over to netflix.com/Chromecast.
Okay.
And then you're going to enter your Netflix code there from your email and click continue, and they'll walk you through it step by step.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's kind of talk about the AirPlay with Apple TV versus the Chromecast. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed, that kind of, let's try this again. One of the one more time. Some of the news that came out after the initial rush of all of those purchases with the Chromecast, it was said that now publishers or websites can actually turn off Chromecast screen sharing or tab sharing, as they call it. So it seemed like initially you could just go to hulu.com and be able to share it, but just like Google TV, I can only imagine that they're actually going to turn that off. So it'll be interesting to see once people start using the Chromecast if Hulu is actually going to be compatible in any manner.
Yeah, I find it kind of weird that they didn't partner with them from the get-go. I mean, when you purchase most smart TVs these days and then most streaming boxes, they all come with Hulu Plus streaming. So that seems like a partner that they would want to have on hand, for the launch of this product. And I'd imagine it would be coming down the pipeline, but from a Google perspective, you could imagine that they don't want people just freely browsing to that webpage and watching the videos on there. They're going to want to kind of strike a deal with Hulu before that's done. So I wouldn't be shocked if what you were saying is true. And when people start plugging these into their TVs, they find that Hulu's not going to easily be mirrored over to their TV through that Chromecast.
Yeah, it seems like it is kind of a good gateway into the streaming environment. So a lot of people maybe don't have an Apple TV or a smart TV or something else like that. So at $35, it'll be good to kind of introduce people to the market and show them what's capable. And maybe even in the end, the Apple TV could see higher sales from people that are going, you know what, I like this idea, but it's just not complete enough. And of course, the Apple TV I still don't think is complete. I still think it has so much more growth and potential. Um, but I think at $35, it'll get a lot of people kind of thinking about how they can take advantage of streaming to their TV.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people are getting that as a secondary device. So they may have a Roku streaming player or an Apple TV for their main, TV watching center, but then they can bring this little device around with them and pop it into any of the bedroom sets that they may have. Quickly pop up some Netflix, for their children to watch a movie late at night. Or maybe if you go to a hotel, you can quickly pop it in and get access to your Netflix account. I think it's just a really portable way to, and cost effective to bring some content with you and easily pop it onto any TV where you are,
Yeah.
presuming it has HDMI ports.
Yeah, that is true. I did see somebody that said that they wouldn't be buying an Apple TV for their bedroom as they had planned, and said they're just going to go with the Chromecast.
Yeah, I see a really good play right there for it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some other deals that are going on the website. So, do you want to kind of talk about the Kindle deal that went on?
Yeah, yesterday afternoon we kind of had a big Kindle deal hit, and what it was from Staples, they're offering $30 off of any tablet that they have in stock. Now, this was working on the Kindle Reader yesterday, which you may not consider a full tablet, so it's not known whether this promo code should have worked on it or not. But nonetheless, it was. So it was taking a $69 Kindle e-reader. It's got the 6-inch e-ink screen, and they was bumping it down to $39. And I think it came out to $42 with tax, free shipping, which is great. We talked about it a little on the website, but lots of our readers have iPads, and it's summertime, and they want to take them out to the beach and the pool, and they're just not good for reading in the sun. So this was a great low-cost way to be able to bring the books with you all summer long. And the promo only lasted a couple hours for the Kindle Reader, so congrats to anybody who got in on that deal. But you can still use the same promo code over on that post to take $30 off any other tablet. You can get the Paperwhite from Amazon, Kindle Fire for $89 and $99. So there's still good deals to be had. But yesterday's Kindle e-reader one was definitely one to jump on if you saw it and had the chance to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's actually. So Best Buy also is having some sort of a deal. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, this morning they kicked off their Black Friday in July promotion. And this is lasting from today until tomorrow. And there's two big deals in here that we want to highlight. One is 15% off a $100 iTunes gift card. So what this is it gives you access to the App Store, the iTunes Store, iBook Store. So you can use it across any of the digital distribution channels from Apple. So you can buy apps, music, movies. And theoretically, it's going to give you that 15% off any of those apps or content you purchase, which makes a lot of sense if you're planning to buy one of the more expensive applications like Logic Pro X or even the Mavericks upgrade when it hits in the fall.
If it's not free, as many of us are hoping.
Right. So it's a good way to save. If you know you're going to be spending that money anyways on some movies, music, apps, it's a good way to kind of cash in and save 15%. The other thing that they're doing is taking $200 off all Retina MacBook Pros. But to make the deal even sweeter, if you have an educational email address at .edu, you're able to register that email address and get an additional $100 off that sale price. So that brings a 13-inch entry-level MacBook Pro Retina down to $1199, which is unheard of. It retails for $1499. And at $11.99, it's easily the lowest price we've ever seen, and it's worth jumping into if you're on the fence about it.
Yeah, that's it brings it kind of near the price of just a regular MacBook Pro, right?
Yeah, the regular MacBook Pro retails for $11.99, and I think EDU customers get it for $9.99. But yeah, I mean, at $200 difference, it's kind of a no-brainer to make that upgrade. You're gonna have the residual value in that machine. So you're not actually going to lose that money in the end if you go to resell it. It's going to hold on to it. Just put up that $200 in the beginning. It makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, there's one last thing you wanted to bring up, which is your review. You said it's coming out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's going to hit tomorrow, and it's for a set of in-ear headphones from RHA. But the reason I wanted to mention is because we're going to have an exclusive 20% discount code for those headphones. So check out the review. If it's something you're interested in, you can pop over to Amazon, and we're going to have a promo code directly from RHA that they gave us just for our readers. So you'll be able to save 20% on that. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that we've been starting to post some more magazines. So we know you guys are into digital content, but a lot of people still like magazines for when they're traveling. So we have been posting them recently, and just yesterday we had a year subscription for Macworld, which I'm sure a lot of our readers would love. It was only $10. The newsstand price on that is $84.
Wow. Okay.
So you could get Macworld for the entire year for $10. That deal's dead now, but that's just an example. We were running that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that deal, and I definitely was surprised at how much it cut down from the regular price.
Yep, and Discount Mags is the website that it goes through. There's no automatic renewals. There's no sales tax. There's no shipping on it. In some of these deals, you can purchase up to 3 years at a time. So you get that discounted rate for 3 years. It's really great. It's a good way to save.
Okay. Well, Dan, I really appreciate you coming on today and talking about all the deals that we got going on. And we'll see if those Chromecasts come back in stock anytime sooner, if it seems like we're going to be having a long wait time for quite some time here.
I will keep you in the loop.
I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this week's podcast. Let me know what you think of this new format by tweeting at SWB1192. We're going to have another show next Friday, but in the meantime, don't forget to check out the Pro XPN deal by typing in the code NTFMAC, and you can also get the iSkySoft software by looking up Facebook and getting that $100 software for just $0. Until next time, we appreciate it.